Thank you to Will for becoming a patron. Onto the video. AI art is a new tool that has come out recently, and a lot of people have been freaking out about it. It only takes a couple of seconds to find someone on Twitter screaming about how AI is going to steal all of our food, our water, our video games, our Nintendo Plus subscription, and our jobs! But I believe it's a good thing. So just for some quick context, I've been drawing for a long time now, and my simple one-line stance on AI is that AI should never replace solid drawing fundamentals. AI is the tool, not the artist. So it's up to you. But with all of that being said, I'm going to be covering a couple of stances for how AI can be useful. I'm going to be showing my sketching process for a piece I recently finished in the background as well, so we have something to look at. There's no AI involved, just some good old-fashioned pain and suffering as I redraw the same thing over and over again like a dipshit. Also, a quick disclaimer, I'm not an expert on AI or topic videos on the internet. I'm a talking raccoon. Let that sink in. Let's all act like responsible adults here in the comments, okay? But with that being said, there's some ways that AI can be helpful. AI is a new tool, and every time something new in art shows up, people usually do tend to freak out because people naturally hate change. In order to get a context on that, we just gotta cover some history. And I'm not talking about Michelangelo smoking the woe on a Tuesday while Benny the Archbishop asks him to paint the Sistine Chapel, but this is an example about paint. Oil paint has been around forever, according to Google, the 7th century AD. Then in 1934, acrylic paint was invented, and to all the old oil painters, they were like, "Oh, you cheating son of a bitch, acrylic paint's gonna steal our food, it's gonna steal our water, it's gonna steal our Nintendo Plus subscription." Watercolor paint has been chilling over here for 6,000 years, and I'm sure the same argument happened when oil paint was invented, but a much more recent example of this is traditional versus digital art. 20 years ago, the sentiment about digital art was that it was cheating, or not real art. Some people still feel that way because they thought that the computer did everything and there was no artistry involved in the process. Kind of like what we're saying now with AI, huh? People thought computers did everything, but there's still an artist behind the screen. For some examples, in animation in 3D, there's still hands-on experience from the animators. They still sketch out important keyframes so that the movements feel more natural. In films for CGI artists, there's a reason they call them artists. There's a lot of artistry applied to that just because they need to make cool visuals that aren't realistic but need to be conveyed realistically. They need to apply artistry to what they're doing. They can't just put something into a computer, hit simulate, and hope for the best. Even with deepfakes, which are a computer-generated image of someone's face, they can be good, they can be really good, but they still have some jank that requires manual revision. So computers have been great at making our jobs easier, but we've needed to change and adapt with time. With art, it's all about changing and adapting. People who can't are just naturally going to get left behind. That's not AI's fault. That's just the way it is. If that wasn't the case, we'd still be carving on walls instead of drawing in sketchbooks or on an iPad. As an example of this, manga has had a heavy transition from traditional into digital, just because it's made their workflow a lot more streamlined. So with artists, they pass off their pages to assistants. They don't have to pay for screen tones. With all the tools that they have, like 3D models and rulers, it helps them with perspective. And I'm not talking small, super obscure manga. I'm talking about some that you've heard of. My Hero Academia, Bleach, Fairy Tail, Food Wars, One Piece, One Punch Man, Chainsaw Man. A lot of these are a mix of both. They start with paper, then transition to digital, but they have a computer do a lot of the work, and it's great for convenience, and especially because there's an undo button. A lot of artists prefer to make art digitally and really spend their time on it. They can also make prints and sell it several times instead of painting things once and hoping for the best. So convenience doesn't necessarily make things bad. Back in my day, the internet wasn't really a thing. Google Images wasn't a thing. If I wanted to draw something, I had to do it from memory or buy a really unhelpful how to draw book that tells you how to draw the entire owl in 2 steps. You know, for me who loved drawing Dragon Ball as a kid, I would go and watch it, try to draw it, and it would look super jank. 10-year-olds now have it way better than I did just because they have more reference materials. They have Google Images. They have YouTube tutorials. They have a lot more information that'll actually help them out. This increase of access to information is something that's actually helped them learn faster. You see kids now and they're crazy talented at art. It's a little soul crushing to me. I'm just like, oh, I didn't draw anywhere near that good when I was a kid. But the point I'm making here is that having access to more information will help you learn and progress more quickly than you would without it. If you were in a solitary white room and you had to learn how to draw photorealism of a cityscape, I think that having a reference around would help you a lot. But the way that AI could actually be helpful is that it could help you generate your own reference materials. Maybe backgrounds if you wanted to make something a bit more aesthetic than just a solid white background or a messy gradient. Or if you're feeling spoopy, then you could come up with some some really interesting variations. This could be really useful for concept art. You could brainstorm things more quickly, spend more time on the ideas part of it, spend less time on the boring rendering part of it, instead of spending 10 hours making concrete look like concrete in painstaking detail. If there's any particular field you have difficulty in, maybe AI could help you out. If you suck at drawing animals, fantasy animals or something like that, AI could help. Backgrounds, AI got you covered. Pretty much what I'm getting at is that AI could help you get to the final result of whatever you're doing faster. That's not saying let AI do it for you, because you'll kind of be able to tell that there's a weird, funky AI approach. You know, you got to introduce the human back into it. Whether you lean on it or heavily inspired by it is up to you. I see that as the same as using reference, and I'm sure that there's going to be more cases for how to use it. We'll get there when we get there. There's actually a lot more AI and computer related learning in our workflow than we already realize. So if you think about it for a second, perspective rulers and Clip Studio Paint will auto align lines for you. Stabilization tools, so you get that good crisp line art, that's computer related AI. Computer brushes for custom brushes that have tilt, texture, all of that type of deal to them, more AI. Color balancing and adjustment layers like overlay, multiply, color dodge, gradient maps, text tools, free transformations, and liquify. That's AI generated, because they can't physically move the pixels. They need to process where they're at, so can't do that on paper. That's just to name a few. So we have all accepted these things as universally good. They're tools. No one's gonna be like, oh, he's not a real artist because he used the liquify tool. But I think that if you think of them as a tool, AI can be a tool. And we've all seen a lot of the bad that can come from AI, like, oh, art theft, people stealing your whips from a live stream and slapping into an AI generator, finishing and then saying they did it. People are probably going to make AI generated NFTs and sell them for $1 billion trillion Bitcoin, making a Patreon with spicy images, and you know, the computer does all that work for you. If you're going to support someone drawing the lewds, go to my Patreon. The point I'm making is that people suck, but they've been stealing art before AI was a thing, and they will continue to steal art after AI is already past and gone and we move on to the next exciting thing. The best thing you can do for the meantime is just to hang on to those PSD and CSP files, because those are going to be your tickets of ownership for art theft. You're going to be like, hey man, they published this art on this day. I had this PSD since this day. Isn't that interesting? You'll also be able to have your layers to backsolve and kind of show people your process. So that'll be good for ownership. But just remember, AI doesn't suck. People suck. I know I spent the whole video saying that AI can be a great thing, but just remember my stance on it if you don't remember anything else from this video. AI should never replace solid drawing fundamentals. AI is the tool, not the artist, and it's up to you.